Hey you guys, welcome back to another Progress by Jay, and today we are switching a whole bunch of stuff in the engine, ignition wise, and then we install radio inside the car. So this is part 3 of making the Lancer a daily street legal car. So check it out. Okay, so now we're gonna install the new stereo deck in. Okay, here the car came with the aftermarket stereo already, so I didn't really have to take off all those trims around there. But if you do have a stock radio, it might be a different process to taking this out. And luckily with this one, I was just able to slide it out. And here you can see me, I'm just wiring up to a plug-in harness, which makes it a lot easier. Alright, so kind of got them all buttoning up. I just took 2 wires together, twist them together, and then just roll into a ball and then put black tape over them. So, moment of truth. I'm just gonna hook up this end onto the stereo deck and turn on the key and see if it works. Alright, it's plugged in now. Let's turn the car to on. Bam, we got lights. Alright, let me hook up the antenna power. Give me a second. Okay, so it works. All right, let's see. All right, you guys, so I've been doing stereo decks for a while. For the most part, wiring it is just color to color, really. So if you have a harness there that connects to your car, usually try to get that way you could easily disconnect them if you ever need to, and then just wire it up to your stereo. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and just bundle these up, put a zip tie around it just to keep it clean and tight, and throw everything back and we should be good. And here I'm basically just zip tying and just making everything neat. Luckily back there where you shove the wire is actually a lot of room back there. And then here you can see me, I was trying to use this plate to mount the new one, but it didn't work, it didn't fit, so I had to put in the one that I came with. Just like that, everything is buttoned up, Bluetooth is paired, and everything is working good. The only thing is that plate right there, this was the one that came with this one. I thought I was able to reuse that one so I didn't have to take it out, but end up I had to take it out because this one comes with its own, and its own is specifically fit towards this one to hold it in. So that's why I had to switch it out and put in the old one. But once you get it in, if you guys don't already know, oh man, I'm reaching for this. You got to get these tabs right here. You see these tabs right here? Once it's in there, you bend these up. And what these does is it holds onto your interior right here, and then you can slide your stereo deck into this plate, and that's what keeps it sturdy and stays on. So it's just a little FYI. Hey you guys, so we finally got the intake filter in, and I'm gonna go ahead and change that. So just want to show you guys a demonstration. This is probably the easiest intake filter I have ever changed, which all it is, you just flip up these 2 snaps, you just bend it back and literally just pull up, and that's really it. And then you take the new one and you put it in, just put those snaps back on, and you're good. And I just want to show you guys something cool that the new one, new air filter came with. So it actually comes with this little filter in front, which is pretty nice. So it's almost like an extra layer. And then you just stick this in. Make sure you, oh dang. Okay, it's not supposed to come like that. It's not, but it should still work just fine. So anyhow, these lines right here, you want these to just face up like this. Okay, and next we're going to be switching out the PCV valve, which is this thing right here. I didn't know it at first, but it actually comes like that. So the new one, when you shake it, you should be hearing that little ball moving in there. That's how you know it's still good. It's when you grab these and then you shake it and you don't hear anything. That's how you know your PCV valve is bad. And make sure when you're tightening this, don't tighten it too much because you could break or crack this elbow. All right, and this is the old one right here. So you can't really hear anything. Okay, just a little bit, but you could tell that it doesn't really want to move in there. So it's a good thing we're changing this one out. Okay, now got a new gas cap too. So this is the new one. And we're just going to go ahead and replace that one. It did say on the smog paper that the gas cap was bad, or the seal, whatever, was bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and change it out. And here the kit actually came with a bunch of different size push clips to hold that in. So you just got to find the right size. And just like that, we are done with this one. So just in case you guys are wondering why it's bad, I don't know if you guys can really see it, but there's dry rot all around the seal. So it's definitely bad. Trash. Okay, next we are going to be tackling the inside cabin filter. So this is the new one. Has a little bit of charcoal in there, so it's supposed to help deodorize the whatever air is coming into the interior. Okay, so here it looks like they never put a cabin filter in, but these are in here. What you gotta do is just take a blade and just kind of cut out this whole thing, and once you cut this out, you could just throw this piece away, and then you just shove in the new cabin air filter, and you just put it in, and then these should be your screw holes right here. And if your kit doesn't come with screws, like mine didn't come with screws, it's okay. You could just still shove it in there, and this should, for the most part, your glove compartment should keep it intact, and it should stay in place. Okay, so I lied about the screws. I did end up using some, and these are just screws that I found in my parts bin, so it worked out. And we also did get some new spark plugs in the mail. So this is the one I'm going with, the NGK V-Power. Love those stuff, very trustworthy, and they're cheap. So I used this in a lot of my Honda cars in the past, and I trust it. So we're gonna quickly throw those in. And to take these off, all you gotta do is just take off those 10mm bolts that are holding the coil pack, and then here I went to go grab a magnet because my spark plug socket actually didn't have the rubber piece in there. So this is another way you can do to take out the spark plugs. It's just use a magnet and get them out. And then here you see me, I'm putting in the new ones, and I'm just sliding them in very slowly. Okay, and just like that, that's how you switch out your spark plugs. I also forgot to mention the NGKs, they do come pre-gapped, so you don't have to gap them unless you want to double check and stuff. And these spark plug wires, I'm just going to leave them in there as placements holder for now, because I do have new ones coming. They're on their way, so I'm gonna just leave them there just so nothing else will fall in there. Oh, and just in case you guys are wondering, this is a pretty standard size socket size. So this is 5/8 for the spark plug, and the spark plug numbers on this one is BKR5E-11. So stock number 6953. Hey y'all, so just want to share something cool with you guys. So when I got these battery tied down from the junkyard, they were all rusted out, like really rusted out. Even the threads right here were rusted out. So as you can see, there's still a little bit left, but took a wire brush wheel to it and then sprayed it down with some bed liner spray, and man, it came out looking nice. So just wanted to show that to you guys. Okay, you guys, so I've been waiting a couple of days for these to show up, and they finally got here. So I got brand new coil packs. These two were like 25 bucks together, And then this was like also another 25 bucks. So these are just the other two spark plug wires. Stock number 8910. And then we're going to go ahead and throw it in there, and then we get a turnkey and hear it start up after it's been sitting for at least a week now. So here the installation process is pretty much straightforward. You're just putting everything back in. I was struggling with that third one because for some reason it didn't want to click on top of the spark plug, but I eventually got it down to click. Alright, you guys, I got them installed, but for some reason I'm not liking that gap between the spark plug wires and the valve cover. It's just a little bit of gap, but I'm not liking that too much. The original ones, they actually cover all the way down. So, I mean, if the car starts, it's no issue. I just would like it if it sat flush. Alright, you guys, here we go. First startup since fixing all of this stuff. Here we go. Okay, that's definitely the car rocking back and forth. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, the car's definitely rocking back and forth. Let's check that out. Okay, something is definitely wrong. I don't know if you guys could tell, but the engine is really rocking back and forth. I really hope it's just the car trying to relearn everything all the new parts that I put in. If it's rocking back and forth like that, the only thing I suspect is really just the rear mount and the front one right here. But if I do them, I'm gonna end up doing all of them anyways. Okay, so this is probably after 5 minutes of just letting the engine run. Sounds a lot smoother now. It's not rocking back and forth as it was before. It could have been from the last time maybe I pressure washed it and water got inside some of the sensors. I don't know. But now it seems to be okay right now. And I also got the fan running in the background, so if you guys hear that, it's just the fan running in the background. It's trying to blow all this exhaust out of the garage. And then there's also a little bit of smell of burning too, but I think those burning is just coming from the new O2 sensors. So just trying to burn off that coat of paint or whatever they have on there. Alright, so we're going to do the timing. You're going to put the clamp onto cylinder 1 and then just hook up the positive and the negative to your timing gun. Here's the timing gun. And let me see if I can zoom in. But those are their teeth right there. And if you guys can see that white mark, it's kind of right in the middle of those 3 first lines that you see. And the thing about this car is you can't adjust the timing. You have to do it by computer. So although you could check the timing, you just can't mess with it manually. It has to be through the computer. Or so that's what I learned off the internet. So yeah, there's that. All right, you guys, we are taking it on its first drive around the block just to see how it performs. Remember last time that we did that, it stalled out pretty much, and then it kept on doing that a couple times for us to just bring back. So this time we're going to go around the block. It's a different neighborhood now, but hopefully everything is good. All right, we definitely still need to redo the brakes though. I can hear the brakes just scratching. So far, so good. Smooth. I feel like this chair is a little too high for me though. Oh, okay, and it shifts smooth. I don't know if you guys remember the first video, but remember, well, I wouldn't say remember, but I remember the first video when we finally got on the street and we were going, and it took a second for it, like it was revving and then it made a clunk sound before it shifted into like the second gear. But oh man, this one, it just pretty much went in really smooth. So far so good. I'm liking it. It's smooth, you guys. This is what's up right here. And let me try to find a little straightaway street and kind of put a little gas into it, you know, put a little love into it just to see how it performs. It's peppy right now, so it kind of, you step on it, it kind of picks up. Also, I was adjusting the throttle cable on it, so it's a little bit more responsive before than it was earlier. So all right. Oh man, smooth, you guys. Hold on, let me switch it. Look how smooth that went, and then the shifting on it. Oh man, it was smooth. All right, you guys, let's take the car back home. This car is definitely a winner. We just need to redo the motor mounts on it and we should be good. We are back here at headquarters. When driving, man, it drives. So we're gonna get on the internet and end up ordering some motor mounts, and once those get here, we'll pop those in. And in the meantime, I'm just, you know, drive the car here and there, trying to get the IM ready, basically get all those monitors working again, so that way I could go and get a state test for emissions, and yeah, get this car street legal again. Hey, you guys, just want to thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for part 4, where we finally give this car its first wash in over 5 or 6 years now, since it's a new year now. So yeah, stay tuned.